just jumped in there and wanted to start talking. I like that.
Thank you.
Welcome to Montreal and welcome to the Beat 92.5. We play your music nonstop on our radio station, yeah. So how are you enjoying the ride so far?
It's incredible. I mean, far more than I ever could have hoped for. And first of all, thank you to you guys, because Canada is the only place that Better Me For You went full #1 on radio. And that was largely due to you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, we're going to take credit for that because it really is due to the beat that you went global, right?
Yeah, our listeners are loving the song. Tell us a bit about the song.
Better Me For You, I like to seriously joke that it was more like an interview than a writing session. Ava Sepulsa and Trent Dabbs and my producer Jamie Kinney, we wrote it together, and I had just started dating my now wife. It was about 2 weeks into the relationship, and Ava was basically just, I came in with the thought of, I didn't know you'd have brown eyes, and I had, the melody in my notes page, and that was just kind of all I had when I went in. And Ava just started asking me what I liked about her and what are the things I love most and the things I'm most grateful for. And I just started kind of rattling them off, and we just put them into the song.
I admire that in a man very much, because a lot of men aren't good with their thoughts and they're not good at expressing their feelings. So when did you know that you were great at expressing your feelings?
I've always been... this sounds kind of cocky, I feel like, but I feel like ever since I was very, very young, I've been a bit of a deep thinker, I guess, or at least an emotional thinker. I think I got a lot of it from my dad. The man speaks in analogies, and they're always beautiful, and he always finds a way to make something that's real complicated here on Earth make sense in a different context of, some story that he tells. And so I've always been hearing and telling stories my whole life. And my mom always said when I was really little, I was always in the very back of the hiking group, and I was just picking up sticks and looking around at the trees and trying to take my time where everybody else was trying to get the hike done. And so I think from a very young age, that is just kind of how I've been. And admittedly, it led to a little bit of difficulty in high school, because I felt like I would almost embarrass myself if I was too outspoken about my feelings and about my emotions, and so I kind of had to reserve it back and try to kind of cater to fitting in. And then when I graduated high school, I felt like I could truly be myself, and that's where the music kind of really came in and saved me.
And so when was that moment that you decided you were going to go busk and you were going to go be, an artist performing on the streets?
When I was moving to Southern California, I had my car all packed, and my dad gave me his old guitar. It's an Epiphone guitar, and he gave it to me. He used to play it for me when I was younger, and so it meant a lot that he would give it to me. And he said, people enjoy someone who can strum a guitar. Like, try to learn some chords, and I tucked it in the back of my Subaru Outback, and I drove to Southern California. And so that was the first thing that had to happen in order for me to even think about pursuing music, because it was always an unachievable dream in my mind. My whole life, I would try to sing something. I would hate my voice so much that I would quit for a long time, and then I would come back, and the same thing would happen again. And so I had a coworker that was a good friend of mine. His name is Jordan. I was working at Starbucks in San Clemente, California, and Jordan came over one night, and we were, smoking some cigars and hanging out, and he was like, I saw you have a guitar in the living room, and I was like, yeah, I know 3 or 4 chords, and he was like, well, play me something. And so I played him a little song that I had, more like a poem that I had written, and he was really complimentary and really encouraging, and he said, if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for me. Go down and just sing in front of people. He said, I think you have something that could be huge, and I think that you should chase it. And I was like, people don't want me to be there necessarily. It's just awkward to just prop yourself up and start singing. And he was like, think about it this way. The worst case is that nobody cares, and the best case is that nobody cares.
It's so amazing that you learned something new, like later on in life, at 21 years old, learning how to play the guitar. What advice would you have for people who are apprehensive to take that first step towards their dreams later on in life?
Oh man, there's a lot. There's a lot that I could say to answer that. I would say, number one, a story that I always call back to that one of my best friends, Richie, told me. He told me this kind of allegory of sorts of you living out your life, and when you're laying on your deathbed, the ghosts of the yous you could have been surround you, and you want to recognize one of them. And I took that to heart, and I was like, I don't feel like I'm doing enough with my life. I don't feel like I'm pursuing what I want to pursue. And if I'm going to do that, now is the time. It's not later. It's not I'll try this in a while. It is right now you have to try. And that's what that first day of street performing was for me. So that is on the one hand. And then the more practical way to approach it is the same way I approach, say, working out. I go into the gym and I'm not thinking, oh, I need to do this, and this today. I think, what can I do physically today that I could enjoy that will make me want to keep coming back? So when you're trying to teach yourself guitar, for example, don't torture yourself playing really difficult stuff that you don't even really love. Find simple songs. For me, it was Tyler Childers. So many songs that are just 3 to 4 chords and they're just beautiful. And that's what I learned to sing. And so you have to find enjoyment in what you do, otherwise you won't be able to do it for the rest of your life.
Speaking of first and taking that first step, have you had your first poutine yet?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I've had it a few times. Yeah, it's great. It's amazing.
We make the best one, right? Here in Montreal, we make the best one.
I can't remember where I had my two, so I'm gonna have to put that to the test at some point. Yeah.
You were talking about like taking chances and believing in yourself. Not a lot of people would say no to American Idol, and I know you got the golden ticket, but was there ever a fear of you making that decision and walking away from that?
Absolutely. That was one of the toughest decisions of my career thus far. And I won't go into the super nitty gritty, but like there was some pushback and they told us that there was an entire episode dedicated to my brother and I and our relationship and my performance. And it was like this golden thing in front of me, and I owe it all to A Lot More Free, because A Lot More Free had just released, and it was like a week or two before I went to go try out in I believe, was it Calabasas? I forget where it was in California. But before I went there, A Lot More Free released, and it immediately did better than every other song I'd ever put out. And I saw this trajectory start to go like this, and that's what made me think, can I do this without being a game show contestant? Which game show contestants can absolutely make a career. It's becoming more and more rare these days with the state of the world and social media and kind of how everything is working now. And just contractually, there were a couple pieces of red tape that were going to be placed around me and what I can release and what I can say and how long I can go without promoting American Idol. And so I was just like, it just doesn't seem right.
So how are you going to feel being up on stage here?
Amazing. I'm so excited. Montreal, when we played it last, I played a headline show in Montreal last year, I believe, and my whole band and crew look back on that as one of the best shows of our entire lives. And I don't say that because I'm here. At the end of the show, they did the ole, 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 and they were cheering so loud that the feedback from the crowd bouncing back off the stage into our microphones was over 120 decibels, which, to equate that to something that makes sense for us, it would be like if you took a chainsaw right here and just revved it up right an inch from the mic. That's the sound that was coming through my ears from their cheering, and I teared up a little bit. It was one of the most surreal experiences of my career, and so I like to keep my hopes level and realistic. So I'm not expecting anything too crazy today, but I'm hoping it'll be something similar.
Okay, so we're going to get them to sing and chant ole, ole, ole. We're definitely going to do that. Now, the question I have to follow up with that is, are you a Habs fan?
I am so focused on music. There is truly. I used to play, I played football, baseball, I ran track, and I played a little basketball when I was growing up. And sports were my love. And then music became my passion, and then my passion became my job. So now both my passion and my job are consuming every bit of my life. And I couldn't name you a player on almost any team in the world of any sport right now. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. Well, we're Team Max all the time. Thank you so much for all of your time, and we love your music, and we can't wait for more of it to be on our station. Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure.